So Elizabeth Warren came in a dominant 5th place in South Carolina. All right, it went Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, Tom Steyer, Pete Buttigieg, and then Elizabeth Warren. So Elizabeth Warren got a smaller vote share, and I believe she got a smaller vote share of the African-American votes than Pete Buttigieg. So obviously she's dominating because she's in 5th place and not in 1st, right? She didn't hit the magic number of 3rd place. She managed to get to 5th. But she has some words about Bernie Sanders. We're going to have a lot of clips to look at here of Elizabeth Warren talking about Bernie Sanders in addition to a clip that we're going to be looking at. But really quickly, before we jump into that, I want to let you guys know I'm over on Patreon, patreon.com/theprogressivevoice. Link is in the description box down below. There's a bunch of dope Patreon-only content over there. You definitely don't want to miss it. There's a ton of content over there for patrons, so make sure to go over there, check that out. Link is in the description box down below. So, Elizabeth Warren has made it clear that she is basically declaring war on Bernie Sanders. So here is a clip in which Elizabeth Warren, takes a not-so-thinly veiled shot at Bernie Sanders.
Demands more than a senator who has good ideas, but whose 30-year track record shows he consistently calls for things that fail to get done and consistently opposing things that, nevertheless, he fails to stop.
So what she's saying there is, it's literally the DNC talking point, the corporate Democrat. She's doing this a lot. She's actually using literal, corporate Democrat, DNC, Neurotandem, created and concocted smear tactics against Bernie Sanders and using the same talking points. Those talking points being, Bernie Sanders didn't get anything done. All he did was name post offices. How the hell do you get anything progressive passed through the Congress or even the Senate when you're the only legit one in a Senate that's bought out by corporate interest? How is it possible, numerically speaking? It's impossible. So how the hell is he going to get something done? B, he's known as the Amendment King because he gets amendments done that both sides of the aisle agree with. For example, one that he was passing that actually would have went through if Democrats like Cory Booker had voted for was an amendment that he had added saying that prescription drugs can be imported from Canada and other countries because they pay half of the amount that we do here in the United States. And it actually got voted down, not because of Republicans, but because of corporate Democrats. Or some mix of both. But I think that one had John McCain vote for it. Ted Cruz voted for it. It had some pretty big-name Republicans voting for it. And he's literally called the Amendment King because he gets a ton of roll call amendments through to bills that improve them in a progressive manner. In a bipartisan progressive manner. So I just gave you an example of that, right? So it's just a massive, massive talking point. A lie is what it is. Here's some more. Here's another comment on Bernie Sanders.
But this crisis is a reminder that this primary isn't a game. We are picking a president, and we need someone whose core values can be trusted, who has a plan for how to govern, and who can actually get it done.
So those are all shots at Bernie Sanders, obviously saying he can't get it done. It's all mostly the same thing. By the way, I find it hilarious that she says she has a plan for stuff. A lot of her plans, if you actually read them, are garbage. And so there's this talking point that all of the Elizabeth Warren bots on Twitter will say, you haven't read her plans. No, you haven't read her plans. You don't know anything about her plans. You just repeat the same thing of just telling people ad nauseum, you haven't read her plans. No, it's you who have not read the plans. Read Elizabeth Warren's plans. I really do implore you to read her plans because her Medicare for All plan requires a second vote, for example, 3 years into her presidency after already passing a public option, which is complete insanity. Her Medicare for All is funded by a regressive payroll tax. You look at her free college plan, it doesn't cancel all student debt. What is her plan for foreign policy? A green military? Is that seriously what you call a good plan? And you're talking about the candidate who voted for Trump's 2017 military budget and Iran-Russia sanctions? Seriously, dude? Really? That's your candidate? So what plans does she have that are so amazing? You tell me. And she also gypped her wealth tax idea from Bernie Sanders' 2016 run. So keep that in mind as well. And so we're going to be doing this sort of big Elizabeth Warren just breakdown here. Here's a Elizabeth Warren pitch that she gave.
If you think we need both progressive ideas and progressive results, then go to ElizabethWarren.com, pitch in $5, sign up to volunteer, and join us.
So what's the point What's the point of even asking people for their $5 when you have a super PAC? Not a super PAC. You have the biggest super PAC in the race. So what's the point of asking people for $5 when you have a $9 million actually it's $14 million. That's like double what I think was Biden's, which is like $7+ million. So what's the point? Like, you don't even have a reason to ask people anymore. You've already got all the money, dude. What's the point of taking $5 if a super PAC is funneling millions upon millions of dollars into your campaign? Is there really a need to do that? I mean, fuck, if I were her supporter, I'd be like, what? What? I mean, her supporters are going to be dumb, but, you know, if I were one of them, I'd be like, wait a second here. What is going on? You have the biggest super PAC in the race and you're asking me for $5? Doesn't smell right. Smells a little funny. Here's another example of Elizabeth Warren being a pathological liar, which is clearly what she is.
But I do have a campaign based on a lifetime of fighting for working families.
See, again, like this pathological liar. I don't know if it's mental degradation or if what it is, but this sort of, well, it's not really that because she's been doing this for a long time, so it can't be that. I think she's just a pathological liar, but this is some Trumpian type stuff. She just says lies off of her tongue, and it doesn't even register here. She doesn't even care, dude. What do you mean a lifetime of fighting for working people? You were a Republican Reaganite into your 40s. Do you know how old that is to be a Republican Reaganite into your 40s? Your 40s, okay? So what are you talking about? I think that means she's been a Republican longer than she's been a Democrat. Seriously, if you do the math on that. So no, that's not a lifetime. And she just lies. It's just like it rolls off the tongue. It's like, haha, I just told a lie, yay. Doesn't even know, like it doesn't even register. She doesn't notice that she's telling a lie. And that's what's scary about Elizabeth Warren to me. When you have someone who's just such a pathological liar like Donald Trump and Elizabeth Warren, it's like, how do you trust anything they're going to say? Now, here's where she actually turns into a crackhead.
Get in this fight. 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 Get in this fight.
Yeah, she's just turned into a crackhead. Get in this fight. Get in this fight. It's like, God damn, what the hell is wrong with you? What is happening? That was scary as hell. What the hell was that, dude? That's some type of thing you see and hear in your nightmares, dude. It's like, wow, that is scary, dude. Oh my God, that's some type of, like, you run away. If you're just standing there outside and someone starts saying that, you run. You hightail. You get the hell out of there, you know? She's just, she has the charisma of a gnat, dude. Except it's even worse than that. Now, here's what's crazy. So there's actually this bombshell report that basically the Warren campaign is just in it to kneecap Bernie Sanders. Check this out. It's an actual official CNN report.
And when you talk to her supporters, they say, look, the fight isn't over. In fact, one person close to the campaign I talked to in just the last few hours said that tonight is about blunting the momentum for Bernie Sanders. That is what they are paying attention.
So that's a source close to the Elizabeth Warren campaign. Basically, kneecap Bernie Sanders' momentum. And so here's what's going on, it looks like, all right? Now, Elizabeth Warren rarely ever, if at all, goes after Joe Biden. I think she does like a couple of very weak, rare pot shots, probably for the purpose of plausible deniability, although I haven't really seen any. But what's clear that's happening here is this. She's trying to do a coup, all right? She's trying to coup Bernie Sanders. She's trying to take the nomination by basically trying to secure as many delegates as she possibly can, and then basically team up with Joe Biden. And that's why, remember in the debate, not the previous debate, but the Nevada debate, remember when she went scorched earth? She went full Russia mode against Napoleon. Remember how she basically went on her little triple attack where she went after Amy Klobuchar, Pete Buttigieg, and Bernie Sanders' healthcare plan. Now, the notable candidate who wasn't mentioned there, who? Joe Biden. So it's obvious what's going on here is that Joe Biden and Elizabeth Warren, and by the way, there were reports in 2016 Joe Biden wanted Elizabeth Warren as his vice president of the United States, so clearly they already have some ties, some connections, and it looks like Elizabeth Warren is pooling together as many delegates as she can to basically team up with Joe Biden, become his VP, and then, probably carry on the mantle once he, just retires or he dies. is probably the plan for Elizabeth Warren. So it's very obvious what's going on here. She never goes after Joe. All she does is go after Bernie Sanders all the time, rarely going after Amy Klobuchar and Pete Buttigieg, but never going after Joe Biden. If she said anything about Joe, it's this really sort of random, unimportant, insignificant thing that she goes after him for. So it's pretty bad to watch for sure. And Elizabeth Warren is the worst. She's a corporate Democrat. She's a sellout, as you guys saw with their super PAC. Her campaign is over for me. Her entire, career is over for me. I hate Elizabeth Warren. She's trying to obstruct Bernie Sanders from the presidency and steal it from him. And she is not a real progressive. Not a progressive at all.